G'day and welcome to the Ball Boys AFL Fantasy Live Show on your Friday afternoon. Today we are previewing a big round 14. We're getting close to the end of the buys and we're going to help you get through it with, songs of hope and enthusiasm. And off we go. Let's go!
Hodge has done it from nowhere. Hoisting the goal from inside the centre. Sheed from the boundary. Dusty.
G'day and welcome again to the Ball Boys AFL Fantasy Podcast. I'm your host, Mitch Casey, and you can find me on Twitter at Ball Boys Fantasy. And I'm joined by the ever fun and happy Luke Roderson. If he wasn't emo enough on the podcast earlier this week, he's gone and beat himself up and, just gotten even more, more down in the dumps.
Yeah, well, this is what Mitch is referring to. And when the Wang gets named out, things will happen. I've gone and physically beaten myself because it goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, well, when Wang's out, anything can happen.
Yeah, I'm not normally one for Wang pulling out either, but this week a little bit different.
A little bit different. So, yeah, we've got a lot to discuss in today's podcast, mate. Lots of news flying around the place. Obviously, we had no game last night to talk about. Yeah. So, pretty, I was bored as anything while you were out beating yourself up at nightclubs.
Do you want to tell everyone what you're actually doing, or do you want to...
I got roped into watching a bloody show called Bridgerton last night.
What's it called? Bridgerton? What's it called?
Bridgerton? Yeah. And so that was a big fun Thursday night,
Big night, mate.
Big night. But it's good. The footy's back on tonight and we got some shit to watch because everyone's favourite trade target, everyone's favourite captain, the big boys segment, it's redundant this week because we're all putting the VC on Zorko.
Okay.
And, and just going to sail home into the sunset with a nice 150 VC and No thinking required.
Oh, Ross likes tagging an unexpected player, so...
If he tags Zorko, I will eat my hat that I'm going to win this year. Because it is not happening. But anyway, let's talk about some of the team reactions. We mentioned at the top of the show, the Wang, he's out. My question to you, Wang out, is that good for the boner? Normally it is, but in this case, is it good enough for the boner that we hold on to him for another week, even though he dropped a 30-37 on people last week? What are we thinking for that side of things?
Oh, look, if you were sort of forced into a scenario where you kept him, I would be pretty pleased that Wang pulled out. But if part of your trade plans included getting rid of Boner and turning him into a Luke Ryan, a Dane Zorko, and you couldn't do it any other way, I think I'd be happy to get rid of the Boner as well.
I think he'd be still fine to go. Obviously, his break-even's sky high. I think Wang Miller right now, he's in your team. So let's start there. Are you trading him? Is he a trade for you?
Well, this is the thing. I haven't really had a chance to have a good look at fantasy, so I had planned to just jump on this podcast and suckle on the teat of the fantasy community as I normally do. So I was going to actually ask you the same question. What should I do?
What should I do? Help me, please.
Help me.
I think he's a trade. I think you've got a bye next week.
Yep.
And I think a lot of teams are going to be pretty heavy on that buy round. Like you think about all the rookies we've been trading in over these past few rounds, they're all around 15 buys. You've got Nick Dacos, who's got a buy round next week. A lot of people have Jack Crisp also on that buy round. There's 3 defenders on the buy. Plus, people are trading in Show Maker this week. We've got Dawson, we've got Bont, we've got Steele. You know, there's lots of people rolling out there with Will Day. Like, there's a lot of players on the buy. Rowan Marshall, Tim English. The list goes on. It's going to be a very heavy buy round next week, and this might be an opportunity to tidy that up for a lot of people. Plus, obviously, he's not playing this week, so get rid of him. So it might mean that some people, if you were going to be trading like a Clayton Oliver, if you were going to be trading a Tuke Miller, maybe some of those guys live in your team just for the sake of getting numbers on the field next week. But I think he's a trade for most situations.
Wang gets the snip. Talk to us about a debutant.
Yeah, well, the good news about Wang getting the snip is that Ari Schoenmaker, he's making his debut in perfect round where we're all scrambling for these rookies and we're looking for defender rookie as well. So he's come at the perfect time. Unfortunately, it probably means he's getting to debut because Wang's out.
Yeah, and how do you see that? So, of course, you bring him in. He has his bye the following week, even if he was going to still get picked. Is it a case of if you need to fix up your team structure and a defender rookie was what you needed, you launch on the first week? I
think you still go Dowling first.
Yep.
I think if you haven't got him, you go him. He's got the low break even. I think he's probably more likely to hold his spot. But outside of that, like, who else are you picking instead of Shellmaker? Like, he's got a chance to pop a fieldable score this week. We know he's been scoring well. He had that great score in the preseason game from memory. So he's a fantasy player.
Yeah, and if you need a defender, I think it's a goer. But talk to us about another debutant, Lorenzo von Matterhorn.
Lorenzo von Matterhorn. I know nothing about him. So all I know is he plays for Port.
He plays for Port. I mean, mid-forward option. I guess it's in a similar case too.
Is he confirmed playing? Hold on, let me check because that's a Sunday game, right?
Lorenzo von Matterhorn, you got to get him in mid-forward.
Mid-forward.
One of the ultimate plays. I think if he is playing, then it's one of those... it's one of those situations. If you need a mid-forward, you've already got Dowling.
He's not in. He's an emergency. So that was a bit of dead air.
I just wanted to say Lorenzo von Matterhorn.
Yeah, no, he's not in there. So
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, no, out of sight, out of mind.
What about Bont? I heard he's got an illness, humpitis.
Humpitis, yeah, it's a rare condition we find with camels these days. So he's sick, but apparently he's playing. He's going to be playing. He's been training by himself. No one wants to catch the humps from him. And I say that's a good thing. But he's going to be playing. I think that rules him out of any kind of captaincy discussion, which he probably wasn't going to be in there anyway. But yeah, he's sick but should be given to go. Hopefully this is a tactic of some kind. Just, playing possum a little bit. Comes out and scores a big one. Who knows? The question mark leading into this round was Nick Dacos was a bit of a test, but the club has since come out and say he is good to go and should be there to play, but probably more than likely gets a tag from old mate Liam Shields. So, again, probably someone I'm ruling out of captaincy discussion, which we'll talk about later. And our mate, big old mate on the wall here, He's got his big 300th game.
Dusty, he recovered from his illness last week, so it's good to see that he's back in.
It's a shame that he didn't get to have his 300th game in Adelaide, but, never saw that coming. But no, he's back. Do you think this means the Tigers are going to be up and about, that maybe they won't be such a easy beat team, easy fantasy scoring source this round because they'll be up and about for Dusty's game?
Oh, they will be, but don't read too much into that from a fantasy perspective.
They're still shit. So, that's all that's going on in the news.
Bales wants to know, mate, how big's your head looking? From over here, it's looking pretty big. I reckon
I had to go size up on the old headphones.
Well, I'm actually just getting word in from the International Space Station that they can actually see it from there. So if that answers your question, Bales. There you go.
I'm trying to keep a cool head. No, I'm not really. I'm picking the colour on the Lux. He
was
moment.
down at the Toyota dealership. I'll tell you, he was down at leather seats. Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Give
me all the mod cons.
What colour do you reckon I should go? Should I go the classic white, black? What do you think?
You should fuck off.
Let's
push on. Talk about Infinite Wealth, mate.
Yeah, so Infinite Wealth is bringing the Content Creators Cup, and the man behind it just so happened. I wanted to confront this guy.
Oh, okay.
Start of the season, I'm sure he had something to do with this. I've got the great man Guesty this week. Just so happens that I've got him on the round that Max Gawn has his bye, and he famously has gone against Max Gawn this entire season, and he's picked this round to come up against me this week. So
you reckon
I reckon a little bit of manoeuvring of the fixtures there.
Wheeling and dealing. Doesn't he also have Wang?
Yeah, but he didn't foresee that coming, did he? So
Nobody sees Wang pulling out.
Error in that part. But infinitewealth.com.au/AFL fantasy. If you guys go and check that out, get your free gift there, valued at nearly $3,000, and you won't regret it there. Bringing you the Content Creators Cup. Who have you got this round? Do you know? Or have you buried your head in the sand?
I dead set I've buried my head in the sand. I was genuine about suckling on the tea to the community today because I have no idea what's going on.
Surely
it was for my own mental health.
Oh, of course.
Right.
Hey, there's been people calling it, you've got to get back on the horse this week, mate. Roy's, he's listening today, and he said, you've got to get back on the horse. Can't be giving up and telling people to get out there. Have you taken that on board, or are you...
No, I do appreciate that. When the traders talk, you listen. So I'm going to have another little crack at it. But if it goes to shit this week, you better believe I'm finding that delete team button.
Okay, fingers crossed that I've got a co-host next week.
We have, in the Content Creators Cup, we have the exact same picture logo as well. So I also contemplated just changing my team name to Mitchman and coach to Mitch. And people just wouldn't know who they were playing week to week.
Who am I playing? And then they'll go into the say, Took Miller. Oh, yep, that's Luke.
Shit.
All right, let's talk.
Warnie's got some chat for you as well.
Mate, I am 100% ready to choke. Something's coming on
like
already.
A Portuguese porn star.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm nervous, but I'm dead set nervous. I've never been this high before.
You're hiding it well.
And
not in fantasy anyway.
We talked about on the podcast, I wasn't sure if there was any podcasters, content creators, whatever the fuck you want to call us, who had been there before, but apparently Roy, he's been there before and he's given good, honest feedback, so I'm going to try and lead or follow his lead and give good advice. I'm pretty sure I'll choke it and fumble the bag regardless, so it doesn't matter. And I feel like this week's pretty obvious anyway, so we'll push on.
Beautiful.
All right, let's talk about some targets, some downgrade targets first and foremost. I think downgrade targets, slim pickings again. Like I said, Billy Dowling, I think he's the first option. You got Shoalmaker number 2. What are your thoughts about Nathan Kruger, though, as a ruck option? He's 295,000. I've got him last because he's just the most expensive, and he kicked 3 goals to get to his 70-odd score on the weekend. I don't know if he's going to do that many weeks.
Yeah, I feel like the answer is if for whatever reason you need it and you can still do your upgrade, then it's hard to say no to that. But because
people might be like, "Oh, I'm going to get 22 because he's filling in for Max this week. He's in that ruck position where otherwise you had nothing." But if you're filling in your 22nd player with the fucking 30, like, are you really? Do you have 22? So I'm always trying to find those guys that I think could be part of your best 18. Schoenmaker, Dowling, both tick those boxes for me. Kruger, you'd need another big effort like that for him to crack the 18. So he's down there for that reason. Plus, he's the most expensive. Upgrade targets. You've got them on screen. They haven't changed from the Monday podcast.
Okay, well, that's unusual.
Normally it changes around.
Yeah.
But I've held strong. I think Dane Zorko is the number 1 target this week. We're going to need him tonight, mate. What over unders? What does he score tonight? What's your vibe?
He's going to get the hard-winged Hager tag. I think he goes 120 comfortably. That's like my low estimate because, like you said, they won last week and they let Flanders.
What, he finished 13th one year? I'm listening. Oh, okay.
And they were content creating. They've been
there you go.
content creating for a while.
2009.
Don't sell them short, mate.
Might have been 15 people playing that year.
Oh, the absolute trash talk. Bloody give the heroes props.
I'll give them respect.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. No.
No, I think Zorko's a safe 120 tonight. And you kind of mentioned it before we got started, was like it could have the potential to be a little bit boring in terms of the variety amongst captains this week.
The sicko in me wants him to go like 105. I reckon something really just
if you wish for that, he'll go 105 and your captain will go fucking shit. And
I'm going to moz myself.
You should be playing straight bat from here. Am I right?
I am playing straight bat. I'm VCing tonight for sure. I'm getting him in. I'm VCing. I'm walking the walk. So he's my number one target.
Okay.
Number two, I've got Errol Goulden. Obviously, just huge score last week. And
I haven't opened my beer.
I think he's going to go well from here on out. Low risk of a tag is the really enticing thing for me. Caleb Sarong. I've heard a lot of people chatting this week.
Okay.
Caleb Sarong, he's boring. He's ho-hum. He just gets it done. He's middling, I think is another phrase I've heard.
Middling? What the fuck's that, mate?
If 100s every week is boring, fucking sign me up to be bored to tears for the rest of the season because our midfield has been, exciting for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
and for someone who scores 100 every week, give me a taste of that any day of the week. I think he is a really good trade target. I've got Luke Ryan and Jordan Clark last. I've still settled on the Luke Ryan first because of the tag coming in around 15.
Yep.
But it is a lot to pay. He's priced at 119. I do not expect him to average that for the rest of the season. No one in that role has ever done that. So I don't expect him to be the first. I think there's definitely a risk that teams don't allow him to do that moving forward. But with that being said, he obviously has the ceiling. He's not going to get tagged. And I think you do have to get him at some point, but I don't think it has to be this week. I don't think it's like a break your team and make sure you get Luke Ryan in at all costs. Do you agree, or do you think that you just got to get that sponge in?
He's going to be top six. He's going to be my trade target this week, especially considering I'm still already a proud owner of Dane Zorko. I think he's averaging about 90 for me. So I'll be having a good look at Luke Ryan. But with the Wang down, I'm going to have a bit of a look at something creative this week as well. Warnie, mate, he keeps peppering back at you, and I reckon he's got you in a corner here because more teams in 2009, and this guy has the information, so I reckon you just need to respect your buddy. You need to respect your elders, Mitch.
I'm talking
Casey.
shit, Warnie. I'm talking shit, trying to make myself feel better.
Absolute shit talker.
But more teams in 2009.
Hey.
I don't know what that says.
It's mental health.
Yeah,
that's why.
This game is not built for people to stay on.
Bro, 2 years, I'm retiring at the end of this year. There's only one reason I'm still doing it. It's because I have to sit here with you.
Yeah.
Oh, out of here.
No, the people appreciate your wisdom and your humour,
your
mate.
Wisdom. Fuck me dead.
Let's answer some questions here. We've got some super chats coming in. Jared, so planning on trading Bont next week. Can I go a week early with a possible sick game? We'll be able to bring in Zork and Ryan with 21 field if I do, or Dempsey to Simps. That's Jai Simpkin, I'm assuming, with a full team on field. What are your thoughts on trading Bont around early?
I think
would you have been trading him next week anyway?
I don't think I would have been. I know that he's been underwhelming compared to what he was last year, but if you have been on board...
And you're the King Bont hater.
Hater's a strong word, but I don't appreciate his humps. But I think that if you have been on board for a couple of those ceiling games, like his average is still not the worst. And
104 for the season.
We're talking about...
2 weeks ago, he scored 160.
We're talking about midfielders that can be up and down. The other thing, too, is in terms of trading him this week, he in the article that I read, he's played sick a couple of times this year. And I think in one of those games, he had 38 touches and 2 goals. So I
always reckon when news like this comes out before the fact, that it's not a big deal, because if he was really sick and proper under the weather and it was like an issue, they'd keep that close to the chest.
I think that's fair. So I think in that case, I'm probably Dempsey to Simpkin. I think that could be a trade that gets 22 on field this week. And
Cash Gen's going.
And potentially Simpkin could be anything from here. I mean, he's not going to be what he was last week, but if he plays the role and he plays it well, you could be ahead of the game. So I'd probably go that way.
Yeah, I'm not too about jumping at shadows. Same with the Nick Dacos thing. I think, keep playing the straight bat. I mean, it is a play, But I don't know. Maybe if you're at that point where you are experimenting and you've given up on the season, that is something you could have a try at. But if you're close, I reckon give it a go.
Beautiful. And we got another super chat there. Sneak this one in. It's about the Boner. Are we keeping Boner this week or are we keeping Closey?
I think you trade Closey before Boner.
Just
numbers on field this week.
Yeah.
You've got a chance at a score. I'd be okay trading both though.
I think I agree, especially with the Wang news. That probably cements it. There's every chance that Boner gets a little bit thirsty this week, potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go on and talk about...
You got your goggles, mate?
Some big boys.
Well, let me find the thing first, mate. Just give us a sec. Big boys.
Big boy, I need a big boy. Give me a big boy.
Woo! Okay, like I said, this segment's useless this week, really, because we're all going for Dane Zorko at number 1. It really is the most obvious number 1 for the season, and obviously he's playing tonight, so the vice captaincy on him is an automatic if you have him in your team, I believe. Now, with that in mind, the rest of the list I have done assuming most of us are going to be going Dane Zorko. So when I have Caleb Sarong at number 2, I have him at number 2 because I feel like he is the safest solid score of the rest of the list, because you're only going to go here if Zorko flops.
It's boring.
It's boring. But...
You want a cookie?
It's good boring. No, I'm good, man. I've got my beer over here. Beers and cookies don't normally mix.
Well, I wasn't coming on the pod unless I got cookies today, so
okay.
I'm going back.
So I've got Sarong at number 2. The last time that they played, and this is one of the games that we're seeing for the second time this season, Caleb Sarong had 37 touches. It was also the historic Nat Fyfe game where he also had 37 touches. Brayshaw had 30 touches. So
I thought I was an absolute genius when that game happened. I was like...
You were flying high that week.
I head down to the Toyota dealership that day. Nat Fyfe 118. I thought this is what I've come to expect.
Oh, how times have changed.
Goodness me.
So if they're giving up basically an average of 35 touches to the midfield, Freo did, I think, even though he scored only a 107 last time they played, you add a couple of tackles or an extra mark in there, that could be something really big. And in a game that's tag as a back, the Bulldogs are one of those safe teams that will, they let Lachie Neale go for huge numbers like they did last week. So Sarong could do the same thing. I've got Errol Goulden at number 3 coming off his 152. Again, his floor is really, really high. So I think that he's someone I'd be happy to roll into after Zorko flops, or if Zorko flops. I've got Luke Ryan at number 4. Some people have him at number 2 and up there. I would have him probably there if there wasn't a Zorko VC. And if he was a VC option, he's hit the ceiling more frequently than those other guys. But I also, last time they played the Bulldogs, he had like an 83. One of his 3 scores he's had below 100 for the season. So the Dogs are not really that friendly matchup for defenders as they were last year, but still makes the top 5. And then I've got Isaac Heaney there. Again, similar kind of reason for the rest of them. It's a high floor. This round is tough for captains. We've got no Max Gawn. We've got a couple of the easiest matchups out with Geelong on their bye. They're usually a good go-to. Richmond's versus Hawthorns. There's no one you really want to look at there. So a lot of the matchups are actually quite tough. So my bar for a good captain score is actually a bit lower this week. So last week I was all about the captains and taking, nothing below 110. This week, if you get a 105, I'd almost consider taking it for a vice captain. So the guy at number 6 who had been at number 5 for a lot of the week was Tim English. The reason he's been dog shit recently.
Whoa.
Like, he's been bad. Like, last week, I think what did he drop, a 70 or something like that? His form is terrible. But the last time he did play Freo, and it was against Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson, so the same matchup he'll have this week, he did go a 140. So if you are searching for a little bit of ceiling, there's a little bit of a risk attached to it because his form 77, 116, 91, 80, 109 in his last 5. No big scores there, really. But the evidence from earlier this season is there that he's popped his biggest score for the season against them in round 7. So I like him as well. And then I'm rounding it out with Treloar. Zach Fisher makes his top 10 debut against Collingwood this week.
Jesus, oh, how the tables have turned.
Rowan Marshall at 9.
That was a typo.
And Jordan Clark at 10. No, not a typo. In fact, Tristan Sherry made this list until Teakle was named in the team, and there's potential for them to do some dual ruck stuff, which dropped him off. But yeah, slim pickings this week. Not many that I'm hugely confident in.
Okay.
So for me and my team, again, transparency here, I'm going Zorko into Sarong. What are you planning on doing this week for your captains?
Well, based on that,
Who's your top guy?
It's going to be Zorko, and then it's going to be currently as it stands Heaney. So it depends if I look to target a Luke Ryan, Goulden, or Sarong in my trade plans. But
the good news is we're not going to need it. Zorko, he's going to bring it home tonight.
He's going to go big. Hey, I've been just about the best assistant coach at Mitchman that you could possibly ask for.
You've been taking out my competition, mate. That's 100%. For sure.
Well, I bought in Zorko, fucked him up for everyone. Great move.
Yep.
As assistant coach
Thank
at
you.
Mitchman.
Appreciate it.
I just said, Wang, how about you pull out today and
I won't deny that I have been super kissed this year.
So kissed, man. 9
out of the 12 players in front of me have Wang.
And you don't have a Wang.
And I don't... Well, no, let's not go that far. Let's not go that far. But the number one team in the comp also doesn't have Wang. So, it's good for him too. So we'll see how it goes.
Where I was sort of angling about my assistant coach abilities was I was sort of thinking can I drive the Hilux one time maybe?
Oh, okay. Yeah. You can have a go. You can drive it out the driveway.
Okay.
And then hop out.
Just drive it on your lap like little kid learning to drive. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Mitch. Thanks for letting me drive your Luxie.
I'll install like a driving instructor's, thing on the other side, and you can
driving pedals on the other side.
Yeah, just one of those learners sort of things.
Yeah, you're right. You got me. I was going to drive it right off a fucking cliff. So
yeah, you'd
fucking you're on to me.
All right, let's go and talk about some spicy takes this weekend and some
ole, 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 ole.
Who did it better there, guys? Was it Luke or was it the OG there? Let's go. Spicy takes. Do you have a spicy take for this weekend? Because you left it blank on the sheet here.
I've got it right up here in the noggin. Yours right. First.
Well, this week, I was given shit for recommending Tom Green as a trade target last week. And he's not a trade target this week. But my spicy take is Tom Green defies all logic in matchup. He's got Port Adelaide this week, the hardest matchup in footy.
Okay.
He defies all that. He defies his form. And he goes 110 this week. This is the week that he goes big when we're all counting him out and saying that he's a schmuck and we never should have traded him in.
I hope you're right, mate.
Hope I'm right.
You're right. He's an oxygen thief at the Oxlong midfield at the moment. So my spicy take is unfantasy related, but I've got to give my props to the big man, Dusty. I hope he kicks 5 in his 300th and the Tigers get on and give him a big dub.
Tigers go 2 in a row. Yeah. Win streak.
Well, that would be the spiciest to take. But if Dusty kicks 5 and has a ripper and they win,
hey, we're still the only team that's beaten Sydney.
Correct.
Isn't that one of the weirdest stats of the season?
Correct. We're going to win the flag.
We're coming back strong, guys. Here we
Confirmed.
go. No, I like it. I'll obviously be cheering for that one right after the Boston Celtics have won the chip on Saturday. Big day for sports over here in Mitchman.
First team to give up a 3-0 lead.
I will, again, eat my hat if that happens and support a different team, probably.
We've done pretty well today, mate, so we got a bit more time to answer some questions.
Plenty of time to answer questions. Like I said, it's a bit of a boring week. The trade targets are pretty obvious. The captain's targets are pretty obvious. Okay. So lots of time for us to answer your questions, guys. Drop them down into the comment section or the chat below. Taco Chicken is asking for Dunkley VC. I'm not super sold on the Dunkley VC. He's not a guy that's popped much of a ceiling this year.
The Ross the Boss thread of the tag,
there was a hint of it.
It could be Dunkley. He was
trying to play games, wasn't he?
Even with that 50-50 shot, I wouldn't be going near one of those midfielders. The Windhager tag last week was out of this world.
Oh, it was next level.
It was nuts.
If you get clamped by that, that's a miserable day. And it was relentless.
That was rash on a hooker kind of stuff all over him.
That was tough. So, Bales is bringing Tom Green in. So
in the Port matchup.
Yeah, well.
Okay. Hey.
That's in my spicy take.
Let's go.
Oh my God! Someone's saying Dallas in 7. You can leave the podcast, mate. They're all copying each other. What's going on, guys?
I like it, mate. Give it to Mitch. Hey, Jordan Clark or Luke Ryan
to trade in?
Yeah.
I have Luke Ryan ahead.
Okay. You pay a lot more.
If, for example, it changes your trade next week to something you're not as happy with, then I am okay going Jordan Clark. Just know that I think it's round 16. Let me check and confirm that. Round 16, they do play the Sydney Swans. And that's most likely going to be a tag coming Jordan Clark's way. Did you see Luke Ryan actually get interviewed earlier this week?
Oh, no, I missed it.
And they were asking him, are you concerned about getting a tag or anything like that? Or what? And he's like, no, that normally goes to Jordan Clark. So, that's good. And he was full just saying.
Bro, he is the spongiest of them.
If he ever gets tagged, he'll be miserable.
He'll be able to do like a 30 or 40.
Yeah.
I don't see him.
He won't be able to break a tag.
I wouldn't have thought so. But the interesting thing for me is I would say some teams would look at Fremantle and go, I don't give a fuck if Luke Ryan does that.
Yeah, no.
Across half back. All of his possessions are back half of the centre circle, and most of them are just switch kicks.
Yeah, it's like there's no reason.
But then,
the only thing they would do would be maybe do. I think it's like Port Adelaide do this a lot, and Adelaide
they press up. They just don't let anyone chip
up.
around. Yeah, so it's not a tag. It's more so just like preventing that. But
that would be the only thing that I think
that'd be
clamps him down. But no, I am Luke Ryan over Jordan Clark, unless it really hamstrings you next week in terms of your trades and your budget and things like that.
All right. Would you trade out Boomerstar here? Would you be trading out the Sexual Tiger or Bonner?
Ooh, no, I wouldn't be trading out Sexton. No.
Sex Pistol, he's every chance to be a top 6-4 the way he's going.
No, I'm not trading him out. I
Even
know
on his
Will
bye,
Powell's
hang on
supposed
to
to be back next week, but I don't care. I want to see how that goes.
I think so too.
He's been doing too well in a forward line that we need him to be there.
Yep.
He might become a trade later, but I don't want to be the one that trades him out anticipating that, and then he keeps dropping hundreds on me when I've got the bonus sitting there dropping sub 40 scores. So, no, I'm definitely trading out Bonner ahead of Fish. I mean, who are we talking about?
Sexy.
Yeah.
I'll try to get this one. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Schoenmaker or Dowling in. I think Dowling is the priority in terms of like the quality of the rookie.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you'd really be trying to get there, but the only situation where I might make an exception is if you're in one of those predicaments where you need to get a defender rookie in because you're maybe moving Fish or Sexy or probably
trying
Fish
to get
this week to your forward line.
Yeah.
But still, I'd be desperately wanting to get Dowling in his...
he's got a negative 18 break even. So his price is going to move a lot more than Ari this week. And they're both going to have their bye next week. So if you're going to get both of them in eventually, then Schoenmaker will be cheaper the following week.
Tim's got a good question here. I think Tim's a regular listener. I see his name pop up a little bit. So Simpkin's a guy that we want to talk about, obviously. So yes. Simpkin and Ryan or Fisher and Clark?
Simpson and Ryan, Fisher or Clark?
Simpkin,
I'm going Fisher and Clark.
You don't want Simpson.
No. What did I say?
Desert.
No, I'm going Fisher and Clark. You need Fisher. We need the Fish.
We featured on the big boys, mate. Well, according to yourself.
Yeah, mate. He's gone 500s in a row. Like, if that doesn't say captain option, I don't say...
That's insane. That's insane.
He's got Collingwood this week. Collingwood are one of the best matchups for defenders.
Fucking sub. We'll trade them all out and he goes 500s in a row. Ridiculous.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Okay, so even though you're going Fisher and Clark, and I agree with you there, you need Fish, what is it about Simpkin that we can maybe experiment or gamble on?
Yeah, so are you going there this week? Do you know?
I don't know anything.
I'm going there myself.
I told you 3 times. I don't know anything.
I'm going there myself, but I'm doing it because I can get my upgrade by going Darcy Wilson to him.
Yeah.
So it's only 30k, but it's enough for me to make my trade. Plus, I'm getting a player who's going to play the next 2 rounds, whereas Wilson's going down in cash, and he is someone that he's not going to play next week.
Yeah.
There is a real scenario where I get Simpkin in this week, and I trade Simpkin out next week. That is a very real scenario. So
it's the time of the season where you can do that, isn't it?
Yeah. So his price is just going up. He potentially fills a best 18 score for me this round, but it's by no means a long-term investment. But the potential is there that if he is in a role where, he's averaged 95 before.
Yep.
If he does that again, he's a top 6 forward. He might be that guy ahead of a Jai Caldwell or something like that we have as that F6.
So it's kind of like a low risk, high upside potential play.
Yeah, you trade him in for 1 week, you watch him, see how it goes. If he goes shit, you trade him out next week. He's going to make cash, worst case scenario. Now, if you are super, super heavy in, round 15 or something like that and you are forced to hold him, then it's a less enticing plan. But even still, you hold him for 2 weeks, you trade him out before round 16. He's still going to make cash by then. It's a low-risk play. But I'd only do it if I can make cash to going to him. Like, I wouldn't try... Like, if he's my only upgrade for the week, that feels shit.
Yeah,
I'm only doing it if I can get, like, a McRae to him or a Wilson to him or something like that and make cash in the move.
Ethan's got a good question here, and it's just generally Clayton Oliver. Are we holding Oliver? Are we what sort of scenarios? Like the scenario that I'm in at the moment, I've obviously been hit by a little bit of Wang chaos.
Yeah,
hit right in the face by the Wang.
Right in the Wang by the Wang.
Yeah.
Wang
on Wang?
Wang on Wang.
It's not a sword fight,
yeah,
mate. Jesus.
Let's get away from that.
Clayton Oliver, can we ditch him?
You can definitely ditch him. I'm ditching him.
Can I ditch him?
You can still ditch him. I would be ditching him ahead of Tukamilla, probably. He's nowhere near Clary. And I know Petrarca's out. I know it might be better for him, but his issue has not been opportunity. Like he's got his role.
That's so tough.
He's just off it.
Melbourne are playing a different. Melbourne are persisting with this different game plan.
They burn him too. I don't know if you've watched too much closely since trading him in, but they don't want to give him the ball.
Paddle foot.
They actually actively avoid giving him the ball.
You can't go regime
and he's slow. Like his tackles are slow, giving away free kicks.
Well, they're playing less, in my opinion anyway. They're playing less kind of long down the line, contested footy, and so that's his bread and butter. Like he's not going to be a transition beast. So I think Oliver can go as well on that one. Ethan,
he doesn't have to go. Like if you need numbers next week, then you can hold him. But he's not close to a best 8 mid. So I think those are the type of guys that can definitely go. Like I'm definitely trading him ahead of a Sexton or ahead of a Caldwell even. I think Caldwell's more close to be a best 6 forward than Oliver is close to being a best 8 mid. So yeah.
All right, we'll keep punching through some questions. Neil, Simpkin, or Green? Who would you get in first? Can I try and answer this one?
Yeah,
Green,
it's a tough one.
Well, Green, obviously the Port matchup, I'm not super convinced with. Neil, I think, is every chance to get a tag tonight, just based on what Ross the Boss has come out and said. And then Simpkin, obviously, we talked about as not wanting to be your main upgrade target.
Yeah.
If I had to...
So you've just talked
I've just talked you out of it. But if I had to put them in order, I would probably go Green... I'd go Green, Simpkin, Neil if Simpkin wasn't going to be upgrade, but if for whatever reason Simpkin was going to be on the upgrade, I would go Green, Neil, Simpkin.
Yeah, I think and I hate to do this because he's let me down every time, but I'm going to go Green again. Yeah. I think
those are tough 3 options.
Kelly's back in, so maybe that potentially a little bit less attention. Port don't normally tag per se. They might do a Drew stoppage thing.
Yeah.
But he was on 50 at halftime last week. I think 52. And then just went to shit in the second half. Surely he's got to show something. So, yeah, I'm still Green, I think, in that situation.
My eyebrow. I haven't... This has been asked about my eyebrow. I haven't played footy in 6 years, and then I thought about just going down to training a couple of times. I went down, and at my 3rd session, somebody cleaned me up with an elbow. I went in for a tackle, and old mate put his elbow up. So
high fender if you got the free kick, bud.
Nah, I got cleaned up. Got the blood off my face, and come back going, come on, free kick.
Where's go?
+1. I'm ready for a little +3, and nothing doing.
Stiff, mate. Stiff. Got the blood rule.
No good. Someone said, hey, Luke, is Took out of your team now? No, probably not this week as much as I would love to get him off.
He's not getting clamps like that every week.
Yeah, and I like to think he's a proud man. I like to think he's going to come out. And despite everything about him has been mediocre this season, but it's just the fact of the matter is that I've got bigger fish to fry, unfortunately, this week.
Yes.
A couple.
Ari, we got a super chat
there, mate. You want to get the super chat?
Ari in or bring Simpkin in? I think if you're choosing between the two, I would go Simpkin.
Yeah. And
obviously you got him for 2 matches. And I want to say their break evens would be very close. Plus he's in the forward line. Ari, every chance to not be there around 16. Say if Wang's back, just takes his spot right back. So yeah, if you're choosing between the two and you got the option, I'd be bringing in Simpkin. Would you rather Zorko and Ryan or Zorko and Sarong if you had the cash? So this is where I'd go Sarong.
Well, your big boys suggested that, didn't they?
He's cheaper. They're averaging the same. I know that Luke Ryan has had the recent scores.
Yeah.
And this is a bit of I don't know, this is maybe just my take or philosophy or form to me doesn't weigh as heavily as maybe it does for others. Like if someone's gone 150, 130, 140 in the last 3, it doesn't mean they're going to go 140 the next game. I often sometimes think it also is the opposite. Other teams look at that and go, this guy's in red hot form. It catches other coaches' eyes as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point. Yeah. No, so it is hard to ignore sometimes, but I can understand where you come from.
If you asked that question at the start of the season, no one would hesitate. Everyone would say Sarong.
Yeah.
Like, not even blink. And I just think that, and he's cheaper. Like, his price underneath his average for the season. They're both averaging the same. I think Sarong's probably the better bet. Zig when everyone else is zagging, I say.
Oh, is that what you say, is it?
That's what I say.
Yeah, right. I've never heard you say that. That's weird.
I said it just now. I saw someone else before ask if 20 is not enough for next week. 20 is enough if they're not all dog shit. So look at your 18. Who do you expect to be in that best 18? If you get to like your best 18 and 16, 17, 18 are Harvey Thomas, bloody Charlie Lazaro, all these dog shit names, well, then your 20 is probably not going to be enough. You want to get someone who's actually going to be able to pull a decent score. If you've got like 16, 17 premiums and you've got one or two of those final spots there as a rookie, well, then 20's fine. You've got every chance to pop good 18 scores. So I think sometimes we fixate too much on how many we've got playing.
Look at the premiums.
But we want to see who are the guys potentially able to give us a fieldable score. If those rookies can give you 60 plus, then it's okay.
Another little combo one here from Billy. What do we like better, Clark, Merritt, and Rosie?
Clark, Merritt, Rosie.
Or Ryan, Merritt, and Walsh. So it's basically Ryan and Walsh versus Clark and Rosie. I think I'm going Ryan and Walsh.
Yeah, I think I am too.
I think in both situations they're better. I think Ryan is better than Clark, and I think Walsh is better than Rosie. And Merritt is Merritt both times.
Yeah, Walsh is more of a top 8 mid than Rosie for me. I obviously traded out Rosie last week.
Rosie is a guy that's going to come onto everyone's lips in a couple of weeks, I reckon.
He's going to get cheaper.
Yeah, but I think like if Connor Rosie's healthy, he's way unders.
Yeah, 100%.
Regardless.
But I think you got to see it first.
Well, you do. And at this point, a lot of people's midfields are going to be full. So it's going to be one of those like luxury type things.
Yeah,
but
and at that point, you're only trading him in if you think he's like better than the guy you're trading out.
Yeah.
Like, even no matter how cheap he gets.
Yes. Yeah.
He's got to be a guy that it's an upgrade. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm Merritt and
everyone
Ryan
will keep an eyes on him. Let's get a couple more in, and then we'll let these guys go fiddle with their teams.
All right, Goulden and Ryan or Clark and Sarong and save coins. So Goulden and Ryan, Clark and Sarong. Ooh. See, I like the Goulden side of things there.
You do, yeah.
So both options are cheaper on the other side. So Goulden and Ryan are both more expensive than Clark and Sarong. So you'd be saving bulk coin in that second situation.
The question is, what are you saving coin for, isn't it then?
Yeah.
It's more so,
I'd be going
to get.
I suppose they are looking for a defender, so you can't go Goulden and Sarong. I'd be going Clark and Sarong, I think, in that situation.
You reckon, and save coin to do something better?
Well, Clark's going to get more expensive. His break-even is low. Like, his break-even is like 50.
I think Goulden, the big ceiling game from Goulden has obviously got people's attention. Do you know what I mean? Had you asked that question before, you kind of go, oh, I think Sarong's probably a better pick than Errol. Plays a better position, plays a better role.
Yeah.
I think the Goulden ceiling is...
Who do you expect to average more for the rest of the season, Sarong or Goulden? I mean, it's probably a coin flip, really.
I think that one's real touch and go.
So maybe it is. Maybe yeah, that's a tough one. Maybe it is Ryan and Goulden, then just spend the cash.
Spend up, baby. It's the time of year to do it.
All right, what else we got? Do I trade Holmes to Luke Ryan or Zorko? So Holmes is on his bye. He's an interesting one.
I'm going Zorko because of the line that he's on.
It's got to be Zorko. It's got to be Zorko for the matchup. He's cheaper and he's in the forward line. Tick, tick, tick.
And then he defies every other thing. 30...
Yeah, you've got the risk there, but the risk is less now at this time of the season.
Yeah.
Because hopefully by the end of the bye rounds, we've all got close to a full team of premiums.
Yeah.
And if he's rested, that's not an issue. If he's rested, you just trade him. Like, it's no big deal. The issue is if he gets injured early. And in the bye rounds at least, you're mitigating that with the best 18. So now's as good a time as any to get him in.
Okay, we'll wrap this puppy up. Sorry if we didn't get to answer your question, but...
Head over to askmeonq.com.au/ballboys to get your questions in, and I will send you a personalised response in your email detailing your question in as much detail as I can, so you guys can get the advantage over your mates. So, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Make sure if you haven't already, smash that like button, hit that big old subscribe button, and just tell your mates to get here next Friday for the live show next week, and we'll have a good old time. Hopefully everyone has a big round, not as big as mine, but otherwise, hopefully you guys will have a good round, and hopefully...
Not as big as mine.
Hopefully, we're back here next week. Luke's in a better mood, and I'm in the top 10.
There's a 100% chance I won't be in a better mood. I know something's going to go wrong. It's the positive guy in me.
You're coming back this week. I've got a feeling. You're coming back.
Well,
Wang was holding you back before, mate.
No, Wang's never held me back. Actually, that's a straight lie. But this is the thing. Dad always told me, if you don't come first, you don't come home.
Oh, okay. So...
No, actually, my dad's very supportive.
Okay. I was going to say,
but also, if you don't come first, you don't come at all.
Yeah, wise words. We'll leave on that one there, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys, and we will see you guys on Monday afternoon reviewing probably a very hectic round. Till then, bye!